The sad part is, to start off this whole issue slash situation that happened, I try my best to be as neutral as possible, like I always do, right? I try to say he's innocent until proven guilty, and at the end of the day, we'll find out more information. Well, we found out more information, and since we have found out more information, it has gotten worse and worse and worse and worse to a point where I don't even think I have any respect left. I don't know. I don't have any respect left for him. Period. So, Rashee Rice. Let's talk about it. So his attorney spoke today. I say, whoa, hold up. Why didn't he speak? Yeah, I wonder. His attorney speaks. Nothing shows less remorse in your actions than your attorney speaking. First off, a little recap if you're new. Rashee Rice was was at a bar with his friends and family. Ended up leaving the bar, racing one of his friends. They get in a car crash, end up crashing 6 total cars in them racing, and they crash. They get out of the car, grab their bag of guns, and take off running down the road. Rashee Rice goes MIA for a couple of days. Couple days later, starts working with authorities for the whole situation. Then he admits that he was the one driving it, because kind of has to admit it, because the car was registered to him and only he could drive it. According to the dealership, there was no one else that was legally allowed to drive the car except for him. So, yeah. There's your little rundown. Chances are, the reason why he ran away from the car after the car crash was because he was drunk. He just came from a bar. He probably was drinking and driving. And he didn't want to get a charge. So that's probably why he fled the scene of an accident and a crime. Fled the scene of an accident. Was because he didn't want to get charged with drinking and driving. Because the first thing they're going to do when you are racing down the street and get in a car crash and you're at fault, the first thing they're going to do is test you to see if you're drunk or high. And, yeah, he was probably drunk. Probably all the guys were drunk. So, now, a couple days later, he put out an apology, which was a half-ass apology. And instead of talking to the media, speaking up and saying, hey, listen, going up there and saying, I'm sorry, he could get some respect back if he would have went up, instead of his attorney speaking, if he would have went up and said, I truly am sorry, I messed up, I am disgusting for what I did, please do not, I hope I can, fix my actions, or something like that. I hope if he was sitting there, sobbing, maybe not sobbing, but you could tell there was a lot of remorse on his face, and he was like, I'm so sorry for what happened, I can't, begin to apologize for what happened to the families, because he hit a car that had a mom and a little 4-year-old kid in it. Could have killed them. So if he would have put a whole entire, if he would have went up here and did the whole, at least show some apology and sympathy, I could have been like, okay, well, at least he's doing something. Instead, he tells his attorney to write up this bullcrap speech that you're about to listen to and go up here and talk.
His attorney speaking.
Mr. Rice wants to make certain that it's understood and appreciated that he's going to do everything in his power to bring their life back to as normal as possible in terms of injuries, in terms of property damages. He'll make certain that he is responsible for helping them to get through that particular part of this. Now, don't get us wrong. We understand that no one can ever bring back to a person who has been in an accident help them get over the memories of being in that accident.
I think he's talking about the PTSD. By the way, shout out to the fact that they started this off with not even an apology. Not even a Rashee Rice likes to say he is truly sorry. And he is beyond, full of guilt for what happened. Instead he goes, Rashee Rice is going to try to help out the families that were affected, meaning he's going to pay them. He's not sorry for what happened. He's going to pay them. What this whole bullcrap thing the attorney is saying is, he's going to try to pay them to make sure that they are okay and everything is fine. He's not sorry. He was drinking and driving, got in a car crash because he was racing one of his friends, fled the scene of a crime, made sure to grab a bag of his weapons in the car, and now he can't even speak to the media. He can't even speak and say, he's sorry and everything. He posted some stupid crap on Instagram. Dude, man up, walk in front of the media and answer questions and say you're sorry and show some freaking remorse. This is a joke.
But the fact is that we're going to do everything within our power to do so. Now, where do we go from here? Because that's kind of been the question. We'll continue to work with the Dallas Police Department as relates to answering questions that we can. And depending upon what they do, obviously, it'll go to the Dallas County District Attorney's Office and we'll work through them also. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you have.
Who was driving?
Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking that question. During the interview, Mr. Rice acknowledged that he was driving the Lamborghini. That was the question that was asked.
I hate lawyers so much, or attorneys so much. And no offense if you're an attorney lawyer. It's just the way they answer questions. They answer questions like this so that they don't, what's it called? So they don't, they're not, like, they can use it later in court. That's what I'm trying to say. They don't want to criminalize themselves. They don't want to say something and then it gets used against them later. So instead of just saying, like, who was driving? Oh, that was Rashee Rice. He's like, well, Rashee Rice, in an interview, actually admitted that he was driving. Like, I hate this crap.
And he responded to that. That he was driving the Lamborghini.
Mr. West, where is he right now, and why is he not here speaking for himself and making those apologies?
Well, let me say this. In terms of him speaking, he will speak. But again, some of the vitriol that's been going on in the media, which we can understand because that's how it works. The fact is, you got a 23-year-old young man that's never been in this type of situation before. And so you will get an opportunity to hear from him, hopefully within the next week.
Okay, first off. I kind of hate that narrative. We have a 23-year-old young man who's never been in this situation before. He's a grown-ass man, okay? He's a grown man. Don't give me that bullcrap that, this is a big situation for him. He was drunk, racing his friend, and caused a 6-car pileup. He fled the scene of the crime to avoid a DUI charge. Don't give that rat's butt of, well, this is a big situation for him. He's a young man. He'll talk in a week. He'll talk in a week? We have to wait a week to hear him speak to what his actions were? The reason why he's waiting for a week, by the way, Mr. Attorney Boy here is going to prep him and make sure that everything he says is perfect. That's why he's speaking in a week. Because he wants to make sure every single thing he says and does is scripted to the most highest degree ever. Because he's not going to go up there and talk raw and be upset and show remorse, because the guy probably has no remorse. That's the fact. He doesn't care. And as long as he doesn't care, then what's the point? He goes up there and says blah, 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 blah. He doesn't care. So it's going to be all scripted. That's why they're waiting a week. So they can script that bullcrap response.
Why did it take so long for you guys to talk? This accident was Saturday, it's Thursday.
You think that's long? Well, as a lawyer, some 40 years, recognizing that there's some criminal overtones. Number one, he had to get counsel. And then secondly, counsel had to get some sort of idea of what was going on. If you talk with the police department, they will tell you that we as his counsel, reached out to them on Sunday evening. So that's not long at all. And they will also tell you that we've had 2 meetings. So that's not long at all.
Senator West, can you
Yeah, again, to the point, as he says, and it's true, this will eventually go to court. He's eventually going to get charged for what he did. And if that's the case, they have to prepare for the criminal side of this, where they have to make sure he's saying everything correctly, because everything he says can be used and will be used against him in a court of law. So, in theory, he is not incorrect that it's not long, because they prepared this process right away.
explain and help us understand why this group of men left the scene after the accident happened?
It's a good question that's still being investigated, and I can't go into the particulars now, but we will.
There was a point where
Why did he do it? That's a great question. It's still being investigated. What do you mean it's still being investigated? Why did he do it? You know the client. This is not like this is we don't know all the details of information. You talk to the guy. You know why he did it. He doesn't want to self-incriminate himself going into court.
someone was saying their chest hurt, can you give us a little insight on that?
Only insight I can give you now is that there's a continuing investigation, and we're working with them on that.
So what happens next?
What happens next is, number one, we continue to work with the Dallas Police Department, answering questions that they have. Secondly, we work with the victims to make certain that we deal with their issues, be it
We pay them. We don't care about the victims. We just give them money.
bodily injury or property damage. We work with them on that. Yes, we have. We've reached out to their representatives, and we continue to reach out to the representatives. In fact, the reality is that as soon as we leave here, Craig's going to be reaching out to some of the. We now know a couple of the other attorneys. We're going to be reaching out to some of the other attorneys. Number one, to find out how their clients are doing. I mean, you've reported in the news that there wasn't serious bodily injury associated with this, but we don't know that to be a fact. And so, to the extent that we can kind of.
Oh my bad. Now they're trying to make it out to be like they're the good guys. Like, well, we're trying to make sure they're all okay. You don't care how they are. You don't care how they're doing. You want to give them money to make them shut up and go away. I hate this bull crap they try to spin. This narrative they try to spin. You don't care how they're doing. The only reason why you even give a crap of how their health is because then you know how much you have to pay. That's why you care. Because you want to know how much you have to pay them.
Make certain that we understand the seriousness of the injuries. That helps out. But importantly, we've got to talk to their representatives and hopefully talk to them eventually.
Just now that the dust has settled just a little bit, can you give us, I'm not talking about the police side, but can you give us a sense about the timeline of Mr. Rice's day and exactly what transpired? Clearly he knew what happened that day. Can you just give us a little bit of insight?
I'm sorry, I could barely understand you.
Can you just give us a little insight about his timeline that day and how, and his account of it, so we can just clear the air on that?
Well, not right now because it's a part of the continuing investigation.
Yeah, the guy asked if you can give me a timeline of what happened. So, timeline is, allegedly, he went to a bar with his friends and family. He left the bar with his friends and family. Went on a racing tour versus his friends. Ended up crashing and causing a car pileup. Got out of his car, grabbed his bags of weapons, walked down the road, and left the scene of the crime. Went missing for 2 days. Next thing you know, he popped up, talked to Dallas police, and now he can't talk for a week. Oh, he put out a bullcrap apology too. Now he can't talk for a week. Guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.